Hi, I'm Tunad, solo builder of Null Terminal, a DEX aggregator on Monad. As an aggregator, I can route any token on the chain except one kind: securities. Real-world assets come with real-world rules: who can buy them, and which passports can't. This hackathon, I wanted to answer one question. If compliance lived inside the token itself, could any app, even my aggregator, trade tokenized stocks safely? So I built Hood Trade, a Robinhood-style iOS broker for 10 tokenized US equities, built on Cleanverse's two pillars: CVI, the on-chain identity layer, and CVA, the compliant asset layer. Let me walk you through every screen. First things first. Before you trade anything, you KYC. I fill in my name, choose my country Vietnam, and my passport number. When I hit Issue My APAS, Hood Trade calls Cleanverse CVI, and Cleanverse mints an APAS, an NFT on Monad, not a row in my database. Watch the numbers on the finished pass. Tier 50, that's Cleanverse's score. They're the independent third party here. They verify the documents and they grade how deep the KYC is. I can't touch that number. Sub-tier and subgroup, though those are my scores. Every institution defines its own scale. I use sub-tier as an investor rating, like the suitability test a broker runs before letting you trade derivatives. And countries VN straight from the passport I just typed. Remember that line. It comes back to bite me in about 2 minutes. A quick map of the whole system before we trade. CVI Cleanverse's identity side issues and manages the APAS, minting it, freezing it with one call, reissuing it when a profile changes. CVA, the asset side, issues A tokens. I launched 11 of them, 10 equities plus a settlement dollar, and everyone carries its own compliance rule inside the contract. A rule can require a minimum tier, a minimum sub-tier, a customer group, or constrain countries as an allow list or as a blacklist. And these aren't suggestions. On every transfer, the token contract reads the receiver's APAS on-chain and reverts if any rule says no. My app never gets a vote. For this demo, I shipped real restrictions. The Apple token blacklists Vietnam. The Meta token blacklists the US, exactly how real tokenized equity products handle SEC rules today. Coinbase is allow listed to Vietnam, Singapore, and the US. And Tesla demands sub-tier 50 or above. I even measured the boundary on-chain. Exactly 50 passes, 49 doesn't. Here's the market. 10 US equities streaming a replayed real trading session on Monad Category Labs high-performance EVM through a passkey wallet. Face ID, no seed phrase, a native Swift implementation of the Mera derivation, verified against 18 test vectors. Open any token, and the app translates its on-chain rule into one honest sentence. Apple's contract says it plainly. This token requires registration outside Vietnam. That sentence isn't my copywriting, it's the rule the contract enforces, rendered in English. Let's buy NVIDIA. I type $5, and the backend signs a quote, an EIP 712 message with a hard expiry. You can see it counting down. The counterparty is a vault contract that holds inventory, and here's my favorite detail. The vault holds an APAS of its own. Compliance doesn't make exceptions for infrastructure. The vault checks the signed price against an on-chain oracle and refuses anything more than 2% away. I confirm, and that's a real field on a real block. There's the transaction. One more thing. The oracle refreshes on demand, triggered by quotes, an idle market costs 0 gas. Now Apple. Same wallet, same $5, and refused. Read the card. HAAPL won't accept this APAS, not offered in VN. I want to be precise about who said no. Not my app, the button still works. Not my backend, it would happily sign. The Apple token's own contract refuses the transfer because my APAS says Vietnam. I never wrote an if statement about countries. The asset carries its own law. And here's the part I'm proudest of. Blockchains have a blind spot. An allowed transfer leaves logs, but a refused transfer reverts and vanishes. The event an auditor needs most is the one the chain doesn't keep, so Hood Trade keeps it. This is a refusal receipt. The contract's own revert bites a country blacklisted error the explorers don't even index. I recovered the selector by hand pinned to a block number. With a curl command, anyone can run against a public RPC. No app required, no trust required. A receipt you can't reproduce is just a screenshot. One more wallet, a Singapore passport, sub-tier 40. Notice, Apple trades fine for them the same order that refused me. Different passport, different answer, same contract. But Tesla is blocked, it wants sub-tier 50, and this pass is 40. So we upgrade, reissuing through CVI mints a new pass over the old record, and that's a real integration detail. The update, status endpoint can't raise a tier. You have to reissue with override. The moment the new pass lands on chain, watch the ledger. Tesla crosses from blocked to allowed. No T+2, no support ticket. The token just reads the new pass and changes its mind. Freezing works the same way. One call and every transfer stops. Let me map this to the judging criteria. Honestly, integration depth 30%. CVI and CVA aren't bolted on. They're the core path. 6 integration points. Generate, A, pass for onboarding. Issue with override for upgrades. Update, status for freezes. 11 tokens launched through CVA. Live country vetoes added with add rule. And verify a pass gating every single quote. Even the vault is a CVI citizen. Build quality 25%. 45 contract tests, 46 API tests, 26 iOS tests, including end-to-end trades on the real chain 0 skips. And where the docs were wrong, I measured the chain and fixed my model. Rule boundaries are at or above, and stacked rules compose as or with veto. Concept 20%, compliance that travels with the asset plus refusal receipts nobody else keeps. UX a denial rendered as an answer, not an error. And scalability. Any client can integrate this eligibility is one freeth call. That's exactly what my aggregator needs. That's hood trade. Tokenized US equities where the compliance is not in the app, not in the backend, it's in the asset itself. Built solo, on Monad, with clean verse CVI and CVA. Thanks for watching.